guys. Hello everyone. Damien and I have been talking now for a couple of months about doing a video blog or vlog. He hates that word, but well, that's what it is. It's a vlog. About all things geeky here in the Dubuque area. And he is not here right now. He's off doing army stuff. And we've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, and I just decided, you know what? Needs to happen. Needs to happen now. So this is the first one. We're going to try and do these every week, just in time for weekend plans, so we can let you know about what's going on in the area that would be fun to go to, but also so we can give you, any kind of, hey, this happened, you might want to be aware of it for next time kind of thing too. So not just about what's upcoming, but what we did in the past, and just kind of general geek-centric topics. Since he's not here, I thought I would do this first one about me. I thought I would introduce myself to all of you, and then when he gets back, we'll do one on him, but just kind of going over why we call ourselves geeks and nerds, what our big thing is, what really excites us, and just in general give you guys an opportunity to know both of us. So that's where we'll start, and then we'll just in general maybe talk about things that have come up that affect the geek culture and the geek community. Maybe not so much right now with him being gone, but definitely once there's two of us and we can go back and forth and give different insights and different opinions, maybe start some other conversations too that might be of interest to you as well. So that's the plan. So then let's get into it with the introduction to me. My name is Samantha. I generally go by Joey. If you see me out and you say, hey Sam or hey Joey, both are fine. I grew up in a family where being geeky, being nerdy wasn't something necessarily made a big deal about. Everybody understood that, hey, so-and-so has their thing, and that's theirs, and that's what they're into, and that's really cool, but it's not like their whole identity. I often make the joke that my dad was a fan of Star Wars and my mom was a fan of Star Trek, and that's why they got divorced. So there's that. I have a... Turn my on. There we go. I have a D20, kind of can't see it there, on my wrist. I also joke that it's the mark of my people. It's how they should know me. I grew up, and my dad would play these D&D games, and it would be like once or twice a month, and it would be over the phone, long distance, because home computers weren't a thing back in the 80s. And they would be on the phone across like these three-way calls, playing these games, and all night things. So it was only once or twice a month, and it was a big deal for a while. And then I got a little older, and he and I moved back to his hometown, and we would have a weekly session, and it was on the weekends, so I got to stay up late, and I started rolling dice. He would hand me a dice and be like, here, roll this. And I'd roll it, and I'd tell him what I got. And sometimes I killed entire parties, accidentally, just because the dice liked me. And then every once in a while, he would give me various NPCs to play, where they would be somewhat key in what was coming up next, and so he'd want them actually played instead of just kind of, okay, well, you go and talk to this guy, and this is what happens. He wants somebody to make it difficult for the players to find out the information, or to really have to work at getting a person to be on their side. And so every once in a while, I'd be given instructions like, okay, you're going to play this person, and she doesn't like this kind of player, and so you're going to be really difficult to work with. You don't want to get to work with them, but eventually they can win you over if they offer you this or this. I mean, I was 12, but it was fun to play. It was fun to play act these characters, and it was something to hang out to with my dad. Growing up, I'd always kind of been interested in fashion and sewing. I'm not super great at it, but it was always something, an interest of mine, and so cosplay is kind of a natural thing from there. I'm actually learning at school how to do some more basic costume construction for like the theater program, which was something else I was into a very long time ago as well. So for me, there were all these things that I was interested in, but they weren't necessarily seen as being part of geek culture. Like cosplay wasn't something I knew about necessarily, when I was in junior high and high school. I just knew I liked dressing up and that you could create fun costumes and fun characters, and that was kind of a thing, but that was my own private thing. It wasn't something I shared. And that kind of encapsulates how most of my geek went for a really long time. There were these fun things I did, but I did them for me, and I didn't really share them with other people. It wasn't until I was in my 20s and I was making some friends who identified as a geek, and it sort of brought me into the idea of having a geek community. And that's an idea that I've really latched onto. I really love the idea of being able to have people who you get together and you create these things, whether it be these worlds where you're gaming or these costumes and you're going to go out and go show them off to people, or whatever it is you're going to do. The idea of a community has just become a really big concept for me. It's why I love our LARP realm so much. Realm of Halbrand, Comiskey, Sundays, 1 to 5. You're going to be there, right? But the idea of these people, we all come together because we all love this thing so much that's what we want to do. We just want to hang out and be all about this thing for a while. And it's been really great because I've been able to meet a lot of people who, like me, have a lot of things that they're really into. Costumes and rolling dice and LARPing and comic books, which I'm slowly getting into because of my husband, who's a big comic book nerd, but he'll explain to you about that later himself. Movies are a huge thing, and not just like the comic book superhero action movies, but just movies in general. Stories are such a huge thing for me. I love learning somebody's story, and I love hearing about somebody's story, and I love sharing my story. So I'm a writer. That's on my other wrist, if you can see that. It's a quill pen and inkwell. I get a lot of comments on the D20, not so many on the quill pen and inkwell. People don't always know what it is. It's interesting. It's a little disappointing, but it's interesting. But yeah, so I have this group of friends who we love doing all of these different things. And we love doing all of these different things together. It's really great. Also, I'm really sorry if you see flashes of my fingers and stuff. I'm trying not to talk with my hands so much. I do a lot of it. That can be distracting. So I'm purposely not showing all the different little fidgety things. So if you see like flashes and it's annoying, just know that that'll slowly go away. Promise. Yeah, so that's me as far as being a geek. Some people think I'm kind of all over the map, but there are things that I really appreciate and enjoy, and I just want to be able to share that with people. So as far as Geektopia, which is a group on Facebook, it's also the name of this blog where this is going to be published. You'll also see it on YouTube under the Realm of Halbrand YouTube channel, but there's also a WordPress, www.geektopia.wordpress.com, I believe it is. I'll double check and I'll link below. I should know that, but I just want to make sure I have. It's DBQ, geektopia.wordpress.com. Anyway, my husband actually started this when he was working at BAM here in Dubuque, because he was talking to all these different geeks who would come in and they would look through the comic book section, or they look through the gaming book section, or they look through all the geek merchandise, and they were always talking about, oh, I'd love to get another couple players for this game I want to start, or oh, I'd love to be able to join in this kind of game. And so he thought if we had a place where we could share information and talk about the things we're doing and, just kind of get to know each other, it would be easier to get some of these things that people wanted to do started. So we started the Facebook Geektopia page, and it's just kind of grown from there. People will post on there, hey, I'm looking for a game. I have these days I'm available. Who all wants to play this kind of game? And I've seen games, very modern games where it's, it's Shadowrun, which is cyberpunk if you don't know what Shadowrun is, to more traditional Dungeons and Dragons, to Pathfinder, which is way better. But, people are playing all these different games and people are doing all these different things, and it's a really great way to bring a community together, to create a community. And then we started the Realm of Halbrand, which is a live-action role-playing group. We play by Belgarth rules, so it's basically we're going out and beating on each other with foam weapons. There's actually a number of different kinds of ways to do that, which I was surprised about first learning about it. But Damien's been in the sport for a while, and we finally started our own Dubuque realm. Like I said, Comiskey Park, Sundays 1 to 5. You know you want to come. It's a lot of fun. We have 12 and up can be on the field, but we have parents who bring kids who are younger, and a lot of times they'll play on the side or go over to the swing set and stuff and play there while we're there. And it's just a really great family-friendly kind of thing. We do go hard with most of our games. We try to make sure people are watching out for those kids who are younger. We are definitely less hardcore than most national events, though. So, I mean, not every realm's going to invite kids, but we do, because we know when you're a parent, choosing to do something that your kids are going to enjoy versus just something just you are going to enjoy is a really tough choice to make sometimes, and usually the kids win out. So having something where mom and dad and son and daughter can all come and have fun and be outside and active, it's a really good thing, I think, for Dubuque community and the larger community in general, the tri-state area in general. There is one up in Platteville, but I believe it's a college-based one. I can double check that too, but I'm almost positive it's a college campus-based one, so it's a lot of college kids. The one in Davenport is also kid-friendly, but they're an hour away from where we're based, so that's why we feel like we're a really great add to this particular area. Let's see, that is kind of a lot of me. I feel like I've told you a lot, and I feel like you've probably picked up on things as well. So yeah, the goal is to do this so we can post it every Thursday. And that way people can get an idea of what's going on for the weekend, get an idea of who people are in the community, because it can be really hard for people to make friends without that initial introduction. So this is a way to get that initial introduction, which means that eventually we'll start hosting people who are just awesome people to know. Like, for instance, Matinee of Matinee Comics. It is a weekly webcomic about a husband and wife and their geeky life. That's their tagline. I didn't come up with that. But they are going to be moving to Des Moines soon, so I won't be able to do an interview necessarily like I wanted to, but we'll definitely link to their stuff so you can see the kinds of things that had been, going on here in Dubuque. They talk a lot about their friends, and she's very talented, and so is he, but she's the artist, he's the writer, so you can see her talent really clearly. It takes a little bit of knowing them to see how well he nails the personalities that are being portrayed. It's very, very cool. But those kinds, or there's Nick, who's a local graphic artist and is doing really interesting things with the Dubuque Area Arts Council, DAC. I believe that's what the letters DAAC. I'm kind of unprepared for this. I thought I would do better than this. Alright, first one's a flub, but we'll be better prepared with information for everybody questioning, and I can always link to it later below in comments and stuff like that. But still, I should know some of these things. Whatever. There's people like that who we might have on if they're willing. You should be willing. People like that who are on if they're willing, to kind of get an idea of what's going on in the community. There's things going on at the library that are awesome and fun that we will promote as they come up over the course of the next month, because they are awesome and fun and it's at the library. You should support your local libraries. books are important. Yeah, if you heard that, I have a Facebook message waiting for me. Anyway, so that is it for this particular one. The next couple are probably going to be kind of short like this because it is just me. And while I can babble on and on and on, I don't know if that's super interesting for you guys. If it is, let me know. I'll do one that's just me kind of stream of consciousness geekdom things. How's that sound? But I promise when Damien gets back and we start doing these, he'll be back in time for some ones in August. And in the month of August, they will be much longer, much more involved, and a lot more for you to kind of take in and enjoy and chew over. Okay? Alright. So, I will promise to be more prepared. You promise to give me some comments, feedback about, given the parameters of what's going on in the local geek community, what's going on in the wider geek community, and what particular focus you think would be good for a particular vlog. Okay? Okay, it's a deal. Mwah! Have a good night. Bye.